Okay, well, good enough then.
I don't want it to get lost this time.
Oh, and okay, then we'll
Got
go
lost
from
in
there.
2019.
Okay, we'll go from there. Okay.
We also want to enter the record. There's about two places on there where it's very narrow, and in the hills there can easily have a head-on collision.
Okay.
And I think the danger of that road and some of the things that it should place priority on this road because of those kinds of issues. And as she said a little while ago, also just the schools buses not being able to get up that road. And of course, the last two times the petition came in 2019, but there have been petitions even before that. They weren't formal petitions, but this road has been asked to be paved, I know, over the last 20 years or so. And so it's not like it's just two times. So this road has been, that request has been made, Lucius, I believe, even before you were commissioner, it was made during that time. So we can see some movement on that. We certainly would appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
And also, too, Mr. Dix, we're, for where the road need to be widened out, we'll get on top of that ASAP.
Say again?
Where the roads need to be widened out, we'll get Mr. Burke and we'll identify those areas, and we can do that ASAP.
Okay, we certainly appreciate that, but don't just pacify me, okay? Help me out. Thank you.
Hey, Walt, I'm a politician, so you know the deal, okay?
Yeah, I understand, but help me out. We're taxpayers too. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All right, thank you.
Who can I give this to?
Give that to Ms. Catherine.
And thank y'all for coming, Walter, you know, trying to help serve the people in the area.
Next item on the agenda, adoption of resolution designating a portion of Old Waynesboro Road as Reverend Dr. Jerry Smith Road. And I have the resolution, which I will read. Whereas Reverend Dr. Jerry J. Smith was a resident of Burke County, Waynesboro, Georgia, and celebrated his 44th year as pastor of Palmer Grove Baptist Church on November 2nd, 2019. Reverend Smith served as the leader of the Christian congregation who rendered advice and counseled the congregation and the Burke County community. Whereas Reverend Smith was the shepherd and used his ability and judgment to dedicate his life to saving souls and training ministers to lead their flocks. Whereas Reverend Smith dedicated faithful years of service to the Burke County community as the community leader who volunteered countless hours of community service for the cause of civil rights, voter education, voter registration. Reverend Smith advocated the importance of voting and encouraged citizens to participate in the political process. Whereas Reverend Smith played a vital role in the landmark United States Supreme Court case of Lodge versus Rogers, which ruled that at-large voting violated the Equal Protection Clause. After winning the court case decision, the district lines were drawn. Reverend Smith was the first Black candidate to run for county commissioner in District 3 on November 3rd, 1982. Reverend Smith was the first Black candidate to experience a runoff on November 16th, 1982. Reverend Smith has paved the way for equality and justice. Be it further resolved that a portion of Old Waynesboro Road from 4 Points Road to the Richmond County line be named Reverend Dr. Jerry J. Smith Road. At this time, the resolution will be voted upon. May I get a motion to name?
Madam Chairman, if there are no further questions, I'll make a motion on adoption of the resolution designating a portion of Old Waynesboro as Reverend Dr. Jerry Smith Road. Second.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Abrams, that we adopt the resolution designating a portion of Old Waynesboro Road as Reverend Dr. Jerry Smith Road. Ms. Smith, will you come forward, please? All right, let me carry through the motion. I got it cited over here. Okay, motion, has been made. Let's, vote. All in favor? Okay, unanimous.
I didn't dress up no picture.
Next item on the agenda, request to rezone parcel Ralph Sanford from A1 to R1.
Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we have a request from Ralph Sanford to rezone a portion of parcel 1301, that's on Old Wadley Road down near Midville, it's currently zoned A1 and is asked to rezone it to R1. Part of this property is used by Clear Springs Church, and he wants to donate additional property, so it'd be about 2 acres in total that would become property of the church, so they would have additional area for expansion of the cemetery and additional parking. It'd been unclear on the title of the church in the past. I think the family had given it or donated it, but they plan on deeding the property to the church along with the 2 acres, and they wanted to make sure that it was all zoned appropriately. Currently, the part that's used by the church is R1. Planning Commission held a public hearing. There was no opposition, and the Planning Commission's recommended approval of this rezoning request to go from A1 to R1.
Mr. Chairman, if there no further discussion, I'd like to make a motion that we redo it from A1 to R1.
Is there a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Abrams, second by Commissioner Nix, that we rezone the parcel from A1 to R1 in reference to Ralph Sanford. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item, request to rezone parcel Evans Martin from R1 to A1.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Martin has applied for rezoning for a parcel that he owns that's adjacent to the rest of his property. Most of his property is zoned A1. This small portion that's 4.34 acres in order to put it together and combine it into one big usable parcel, he needs rezoning from R1 residential to A1 agriculture. The intent is to use it for agricultural purposes. The Planning Commission held a hearing, there was no opposition, and they recommended approval unanimously.
Okay, motion.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Madam Chair, I'm gonna recuse myself from the vote.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Abrams, second by Commissioner Nix, that we rezone this parcel from R1 to A1. All in favor? Okay, let the minutes reflect 4 votes and
One
Mark,
abstention.
1 abstention. Motion passed. Request to rezone parcel Teresa Dickey from A1 to R1.
Terry Dickey has applied for rezoning of a portion of parcel 99-19A from A1 to R1. She intends to sell this portion to her son and combine it, so that she wants to convey 1.14 acres and combine it with another smaller piece of property to be used as a residence. Her property currently is zoned A1. Public hearing was held. There was no opposition. The Planning Commission recommended approval of this rezoning from A1 to R1, that 1.14 acres of property.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, no further discussion, Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we move it from A1 to R1.
I'll say it.
Motion made by Commissioner Abrams, second by Commissioner Martin, that we rezone a parcel for Teresa Dickey from A1 to R1. All in favor? Unanimous. Bid opening, SIP phone service.
And SIP is, I did know what all it stood for, but it's a phone system like voice over internet protocol. It's the latest in phone technology, the best I can describe it. You guys, is the system integrated?
Session initiation
Protocol. All right. We have 3 bids on the upgraded phone system, which is the easiest way to say it. First one is Intellex Solutions, and these are proposals, so it's not going to be where we can find a price. It's going to be a list of items. So we'll read off the participants and then let staff review and bring it back to the Finance Committee for approval. But NTLX has given us a proposal. Next one is, let's see, looks like Planners Telecommunications has given us a proposal. Yeah, we got one from Planners, and then the third one is IP Phone. Looks like it's complete, but IP Phone, and they're out of North Miami. Planners is out of Newington, and Intellex Solutions is out of Canton, Massachusetts. So we'll see where these go. We'll hopefully have them reviewed in time for the Finance Committee
We're
tomorrow.
gonna handle that, the IT department?
The IT department.
Okay.
So what time is the finance meeting?
What time, how your situation look?
Whatever. I mean, I'm okay tomorrow afternoon. Tell me 4:30.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, everybody.
Next item on the agenda, filling unexpired term on DFAX board. This Commissioner Abrams had an individual, but
Right.
has not been in touch.
Excuse me, I fell up under the bus a few weeks ago, and, but, I'm in the process of working on someone to, serve, do a great job, like Mr. Cummings is serving on the DPAC board.
So this one item is tabled until next, meeting
Next Tuesday.
in March. Next item, approval of local qualifying fees for the 2022 election cycle.
And this is where I definitely miss having Laverne and having an elections official to remind me when it's deadline time. The board needs to set the qualifying fees in January, and so we can advertise them. But you have no choice in what the fees are. So we calculated the fees based on state law. We got it advertised before the February 1st deadline, but we just need the board to approve in the minutes the qualifying fees for the positions that are open for the 22 elections. Those being the Solicitor General, the state court. That qualifying fee is 3% of the previous year's annual salary, so it's $899.65 for the qualifying fee. School board qualifying fee is 3% of the base salary, so that's $216. And county commissioner is 3% of the base salary, which is $180. Just need approval in the minutes.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve qualifying fees as stated.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Nick, second by Commissioner Abrams, that we approve the local qualifying fees for the 2022 election cycle. All in favor? Unanimous. Next item, adoption of revised radiological emergency plan.
Because of having Plant Vogel in our community, we are required, and it's a good idea to have a radiological emergency plan. From time to time, we update it to keep up with changing conditions. One of the changes in the plan needed to document where the emergency calls came in now that we have an independent 911 center and it's not housed at the EMA headquarters. We had to note that in the plan. It also updates the traffic plan for the emergency protection zone, and it specified the City of Waynesboro Fire Department would assist with decontamination of vehicles, and a new provision the state requires, it might be the feds require, is that we would also do pet decontamination. As people will bring their pets out of the contamination zone, we'll have to, we've got provisions to decontaminate not only human individuals, but their pets as well. So those are the 4 changes in the plan. It's rather lengthy, but everything else is the same as it's been.
Madam Chair, I'll recuse myself on this one since I was involved from the company standpoint as an emergency director.
Can we get a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Abrams, second by Commissioner Lively, that we adopt the revised radiological emergency plan. All in favor? Let the minutes reflect that Commissioner Nix abstained. Thank you. Adoption of resolution and maintenance agreement with DNR for Brigham Landing boat ramp.
The DNR has approached us recently asking for the county to commit to do maintenance on the Brigham Landing boat ramp, to keep the area cleaned up, to do general maintenance on the road, and minor maintenance on the ramp itself. We reminded, during the conversation I had, we reminded them that we had asked for to work with DNR to open up Griffin's Landing and to make that available for public use. And he said they would look into it. And so I wanted to report that as part of the, there'd been some questions. I had some of the commissioners ask about that project.
We already maintain the road, don't we,
We do. We maintain the road. I think they want us to maintain it even to a higher standard. From time to time, during wet weather, the river gets up. It's high near the boat ramp. There's a little lower area between the ramp and the hill. So sometimes water goes over the road. I think they want us to keep the road passable throughout the year. Although it is passable if you got the right kind of vehicle.
I think we need to ask them where they at on Griffin Landing, and we'll give them our answer on this.
We can table this, but are we also kind of stepping back onto somebody else's property? That I know it's a government entity, but are we kind of tiptoeing into where we shouldn't be?
That's a good question. I'm not sure who owns I can research who owns the
Let's table it
property,
till we
the
get a little
parking
more
area around the boat ramp.
But can I put this at one little question? You know what I mean? Come on, we got the river line there, and we gonna be too hateful to have it set up where our citizens can go down there and put the boats in the water. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't have a sailboat, but some of the people here in the area, it'll be like a convenience. They paying taxes. Come on, you know.
Well, we asked them about Griffin Landing. There's a pile of people live down at Griffin Landing, and they didn't want to let us.
But anyway, we can do that on. We still can get together on it. But to me, personally, if they want to let us go down there and somewhat, and like we got to put a concrete in, but just to keep the road up and the deck ready. Our citizens will go down there and get on the river for reparation. And plus, we got people here at Georgia Power here, living here in the area. That'll be something nice there. But anyway, that's just my thought.
Well, there are public boat ramps that are already open that Georgia Power takes care of. I say we table it till we figure out property ownership and what they're gonna do with Griffin Landing.
Well, Lucius, if you make that a motion, I will second the motion.
When I make a motion,
Maintain.
You wanna coach him or you wanna make a motion or?
Making sure his was a motion.
Well, it wasn't a
I
motion.
make a motion that we fix it up so at least they can get the boats in the ramp.
Okay, how much area does this cover? Cause
We don't know.
I don't understand all this, because it says maintain, right, but then it also say keep the trash picked up and cut the grass, but where's all this area? Not exactly by the boat ramp, where is it located? That's all I wanna know.
Yeah, it's at the end of our road, but then there's a wider area that people use to park. It's wider than because we don't have any right of way. It's prescriptive through there.
Cause I remember us asking them for something and they just pretty much straight out denied.
That was Griffin Landing.
Okay.
That's the next.
Next road, right?
That's because that's their property they don't want us to mess with right now, but yet they want us to do the other property. So we should table it till we figure out whose property is whose and how much land we need to do. That's my motion.
Let them
I
know that
we agree with that. We'll stay on.
Thank you, Mr. Abrams.
Okay, that item is tabled. Budget amendment, legal fees.
All right, we've got quite a number of legal fees this year due to our recent lawsuit. What we're asking for the board to do is move $34,000 out of contingency into the county's legal fees to cover our expenses that are over and above what we expected when we adopted the budget.
Can we get a motion?
I make a motion, we, move the, 33?
34.
Yeah, 34 out of the consensus so that we can, take care of our obligation.
Madam Chair, I'll second the motion and budget amendment to go $34,000 contingency to professional services.
Motion made by Commissioner Abrams, second by Commissioner Nix, that we approve the budget amendment to move the $34,000 from contingency. All in favor? Unanimous. Item 16 has been moved to executive session. Adam, did you want to say anything on that one? Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, can I get Adam to clear up something real quick? If you would, please, the carver here, could you give him a little light update on the situation between the lawyer, and that situation?
Yes, sir. We're in the same position that we were previously. At this point, the county has adopted the agreement. We are waiting on the landowners to switch property with us. At this point, there's really not much more the county can do. My last communication with their attorney was that the banks had still not released their liens to allow
This is
the
Cobb Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. At this point, this body has done all it can do short of condemnation to acquire the property, and that would be the only other option to move forward, other than if the landowner actually goes ahead and adopts the agreement. But this body has done, up until that point, everything that could be done.
I just want to give y'all what's been going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
I would say Happy New Year to everyone. And this is my first time, coming in about a year. The last time we came in 2021. And so basically, I had a very good conversation. I think I talked to Mr. Nelson. I talked to you on the phone. And thank you, Commissioner Abrams, for giving me the opportunity to talk to him. And we had a really good conversation about some of the same things that you already just mentioned. But I know that was a kind of like an update. But my question is, if we're going to move forward in a positive way, because we know this is a large project. And so it seems like all the large projects are kind of pushed to the side. I won't say pushed to the side, but they kind of move to the side. Now the smaller projects are still going on, and that's good. But I would like to see the commissioners, put the time and the effort into these large projects too, just like you do the small projects. And as I talked to Mr. Nelson about the paperwork, I think one of the institutions agreed for everything to go forward. And then it could have been some of the other institutions, financial institutions, that, at a standstill. But also my question is, as commissioners, have you moved forward with anything positive? Mr. Nelson did talk to me about, it might be another route that you might have to take, for things to get, done. We know that the right-of-way has always been a problem. And so if the right-of-way is a problem, then how can we solve that problem? How can you all come together as a body and, work to help us to solve the problem? Is there anything else that we can do? Because we don't want to have to, keep coming back every year after year and saying that, the right-of-way is the problem. So that's a big project. We just kind of like, put that, to the side for now. And we don't want it to have to be like, we've been working at this for some years now. Ever since I retired, I've been coming with my brother, and so, and that's been 8 years for now. And so if, we're just looking for something to happen more than just saying that the right-of-way is the issue and it's, moved to the side, and we'll look at the other projects and we'll go ahead and get those, and that's good. It really truly is. But we want to see some progress too. We want you all to work just as hard as you do with the smaller projects, with the larger projects too. And so that's our concern. And so if you can give me some feedback on that, I certainly appreciate it.
Ms. Phillips, ain't
Yes.
but one thing left for us to do is go through the condemnation and say, look, and that really gonna take some time. And that's why we was trying to be so, after the landowner agreed, but we tied up with two banks that one don't want a G and the other don't want a H. You know what I mean? And it got us over here looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? So our next step is to go through condemnation.
Yes, and I heard you have.
And which I have no problem. If I can get 2 extra votes, I have no problem by doing it. Period.
The only problem I have with that is, it seems like it takes from years and years, what you have told me.
It does.
And that means it puts us right back where we started.
Right.
We're waiting, another 10, 15 years before something ever
Right.
happens?
And that's why Adam Nelson then, and believe me, I've been on it, you know what I'm saying, by trying to work out something with the two lending institutions so that we can resolve this issue. And they're not losing any land, but it's just a fact of, I just don't know what the situation is on it.
Well, my I would say this is, just try to work hard for us in that area instead of, each year it's still at a standstill and it's the same thing, and then it'll be, I don't know, it's the same thing going over and over.
I'm more frustrated than you. Guess what? I'm more frustrated than you up there, and then you are. Now, this is my way of thinking. I'm thinking of doing it. Now, I don't know whether I can get the board to go along with it.
Yes, and I have looked at some of the paperwork.
Right.
Mr. Murray has showed me some of the paperwork.
Right.
And I've been in contact with Mr. Murray. You all know that too, because of the pandemic. I was, as in talking, letting him know certain things so he can refer to you all. Because, like I said, during the pandemic, we're still going to be here, because we want to see the progress. And I know y'all want to see the progress also, too, and so I just hope, like I say, that you all will work as hard for us as these other projects, and so we can, have an accomplishment with the bigger projects as well as the smaller ones. Thank you.
Okay.
Adam,
All right.
Adam, can you tell everybody what's involved with the condemnation process and general sort of timelines?
Well, to Commissioner Abrams' point, condemnation can not only be an expensive process for the acquisition of the property, it also can be an expensive legal battle if the owner of the property does not abide. In this case, you've also got banks involved too, so the banks would also have some say, or they'd be involved with the process. Our arrangement that this body has adopted would have a land swap where the county doesn't have to they don't have to purchase any property. Instead, they'll just swap the land, which is a much better proposition. Condemnation would require this body to perform another appraisal of the property to allow the opportunity of the folks who own the property to be there. It would require us to then pay fair market value for that land. And the last time I remember, it was around $85,000 for the land. And we would have to, if there was a challenge to either the value or our taking of the land, we'd have to go to court to actually do that. That process takes around, at best, if you got the appraisal done, which at this point in our line of work, that's usually what takes the longest time to get. Could be a 6-month process before you ever got to actually filing the petition. And if they fought it, I've had condemnation cases taken to the Supreme Court that took 2-3 years. It's obviously a much more expensive process. And one thing that this body has always been very vigilant in doing, because as it's known in this county, with over 600 miles of dirt roads, the limited resources of this county, they have to look at property owners that are willing to give land before they do those improvements. Because if we condemned every parcel of land that we needed to, or paved roads, we would quickly run out of our budget. So, I think that's kind of the where we find ourselves. Now, it just so happens that this property involved is a part of a farm that has a lot of security interest against it. They use bank notes to operate, and that's what's made this process difficult to unwind. But Commissioner Abrams is correct. If you wanted to forego that, you could certainly go with the condemnation route. I also want to be clear, too, though, that I always tell local government clients to be consistent in your actions, and this body has done a stellar job of being consistent when it comes to the use of condemnation. I want to hold that against the concept, though. There does come a time where it gets too far. So, but that's for these commissioners to decide.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. Next item on the agenda, authorizing disposal of old Development Authority building.
And Chamber have now finally moved all their items out of the old building, and they are operating here out of the old courthouse down below us. That means the building is empty, and we can dispose of it. What the process would be is the board would need to declare that building property surplus, and we could dispose of it by sealed bid or auction. I would recommend we use a online auction service for disposal of the property.
Now, Merv, will we get a appraisal on it and kind of start there and go up? Is that?
We can, if you want to spend the money on the appraisal, or we could use the tax assessor's office as a minimum bid on their appraisal.
I think we need to try to get the most we can.
Yeah, what we could do is, on those auctions, we can refuse to, if we see that the bid is too low, we can refuse to bid.
Set a minimum bid, in other words.
Yeah.
Or reserve.
Right, reserve the right to refuse the bid.
Madam Chairman, I make the motion, we declare property surplus, and let the county manager go through the process of determining the value of the building, put it on the site, and setting a reserve price as a minimum.
I'll say it.
Motion made by Commissioner Nick, second by Commissioner Martin, that we dispose of our old Development Authority building via the online.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question real quick? I'm sorry. How are you going to determine who you allow to do put the bid on? I mean, I don't know, there's obviously not a way for them to bid it.
Yeah.
Just curious.
We have used Bidder One. They do a lot of government auctions. They're out of Macon, and we've had good success, gotten a lot of response. They do equipment as well as property auctions for other local governments, and they do it online, and they're good at advertising. And and one good thing about their system is that the fees are, the purchaser pays all the fees. Whatever the final purchase price, agreed purchase price, that whole amount comes to us. Then there's a percentage added on that Bidder One gets that the buyer pays. So we don't pay the
I think they've been doing all our vehicles and equipment.
Right, they've been doing, we've gotten, since we started using them, we've gotten a lot better prices than we used to do when we had our own auctions on site.
Yeah, they got us some good money for the last road department auction, equipment auction, they was patrol authorities and ambulances and all, and they got some good money for some junk.
I'm open to others, but they've been so good to us, and we've had good experience with them. I just assume, continue with it.
I know I'm gonna be asked that question, and I wasn't sure how it came about, so thank you. Sorry to mess up the vote.
Okay, we're voting, so we're back to the vote. All in favor? Unanimous. Information and reports Chief Sanders, not Sanders, Chief Matthews.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, late last week we took delivery of our 3 new brush trucks, and I put them in service today. The workmanship, I think, is outstanding. The fit and finish is outstanding, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. I think the vendor did an excellent job. February the 22nd of this month, we will be having a practice exercise preparing for a graded exercise on May the 17th. If any of the commissioners would like to observe and see how the EOC operates during a drill, you're more than welcome. But we are preparing for a graded exercise May of this year, and they will be evaluating our ability to set up a reception center and shelter and also to decontaminate emergency vehicles. So that will be the emphasis as well as the EOC operations. And other than that, it's just been business as usual. Any questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, staff, for your all's services.
Chief, can I ask you one other question before you sit down, please, sir? Yes, sir. How are we looking on our rollover for trying to recruit our new EMA and fire, for the future, coming? How are we looking okay? Or we kind of
We still have several openings. I've got an individual who is already a firefighter paramedic that put in an application. I'm just waiting for him to get orientation, and then we're going to put him on the roster. But the issue that we're having is we just don't have a lot of applications. And the last time we tried to generate interest, we not only put an ad in the True Citizen, we also put an ad in the Augusta Chronicle, I believe, to try to garner some interest, and there just wasn't a lot of interest. I think the last time that we gave a pre-employment test, we had 4 people respond, and they all failed the pre-employment test. So
we advertise on like Indeed and all them websites.
I can look into that. We have not historically in the past. Now, I will say this much. The Georgia Association of EMS has just started a website for ambulance services primarily to post job openings. So I'm going to be looking into that, and I'm going to be using that, and that is very focused on EMS. But I can certainly look into Indeed. I'm open to anything because right now we're still about 12 people short. Sir?
Yeah, Job Recruiter, Indeed, all them. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't look at the True Citizen and just
True. That is true, sir.
Chief, one thing that we discussed and believe last year was trying to target the high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how that's coming or how it can be approached so they would know that's a job opportunity where you will get trained on the job and get paid.
Right. We're very unique as far as that goes because most places, especially ambulance services, they expect you to be certified before they'll even look at you. For us to train firefighters and EMTs and they're on the payroll while they're being trained is a very unique, I think, opportunity. I've talked to Wayne Hickman with Board of Ed, and I've tried to make sure that any career days, anything like that, that we are a part of. And we're even working on a promotional video that we can show what it is exactly that we do. And we are looking into that. We are also exploring the possibility, and it would take some doing, of starting training for seniors in high school that are already 18 and actually start training them and see if there was a way they could get some sort of school credit for training as a firefighter. And then as soon as they graduate high school, maybe hire them and train them as an EMT and put them to work. We're exploring those possibilities. I'm not sure what the legality of that is yet. We're very preliminary in looking at that. But I'm definitely trying. I'm looking at a lot of different avenues to try to increase our recruitment.
Yeah, we had talked with our Chief Sanders retired, in order to try to get us rated up and get the young kids. We got the superintendent back in there now. To even go to the part of you having a little STEM program that's where it can start from the root. And right. We can plant that seed in the head while they're young. And whatever, but this is the thing of it is, whatever we can do to work together,
right?
Then put the ideas together, then we go from there. Let's do that.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Chief Webster? Mhm. Okay. Did I omit anyone? Michael, you have anything? Okay. Maybe get him,
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion, we go into executive session to, discuss property and litigation.
motion has been made that we go into executive session for property and litigation. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Abrams, all in favor? Unanimous.